to the back of the end zone.
These are the 10 most epic moments in NFL history. Number 10. Tom Brady's historic comeback. Let's start this off hot at number 10, diving into the time the New England Patriots capitalized on the most improbable comeback in Super Bowl history to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. If you're a Patriots fan, then this was most likely the greatest moment of the past decade for you. If you're a Falcons fan, not a day goes by where you likely don't think about the 28-3 lead you once had late in the third quarter. Nevertheless, what Tom Brady and this Patriots squad were able to do with their backs up against the wall will never not be impressive. Oh, and I didn't even mention the owner of the Falcons, Arthur Blank, was so confident that his team would win that he came down onto the field in the second half before the game was over. Yeah, not a great look there. Number 9. Kevin Dyson comes up just 1 yard short. The next epic moment that we're going to talk about happened during a Super Bowl matchup between the Tennessee Titans and Los Angeles Rams. Both teams wanted their very first Super Bowl win, and the game all came down to the last play. The Titans needed to score a touchdown from the 10-yard line. Then, Kevin Dyson caught a pass at the goal line and stretched out to try and break the plane, only to be pulled back by a single yard. Just a single yard. That's all that stood between the Titans championship and their devastating defeat. The hearts of every Titans fan in that building must have been shattered to pieces. I can only imagine how devastating that must have felt for Dyson himself, knowing that he was that close to changing history. I guess that's what the age-old saying is, every inch and every yard matters. Number 8. The Philly Special shocks the world. At number 8, we have to talk about the Philly Special. Looking at the box score and just the sole play itself, it doesn't do it justice because this sent shockwaves through the NFL world when it happened. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles were locked into a cage match with the Patriots in the Super Bowl. When they decided to do the unthinkable, Nick Foles and Doug Peterson came together and called the Philly Special, which, in short, was a trick play to get Foles a receiving touchdown. And he decided to call this insanely risky trick play on a 4th down at the goal line before the first half ended. If he misses this, the whole game changes. Fast forward, and Foles did exactly what the play set out for him to do and caught a touchdown pass. Without this play, we likely don't see the Eagles win their first Super Bowl in franchise history, and Brady would have had another title to his resume. Mind you, Foles wasn't even supposed to be starting. The starter for all the regular season, Carson Wentz, got hurt right before the playoffs, and Foles led them all the way. I think this just adds to the unbelievable year that Philly had, and making this moment that much greater for everybody. Well, everybody except for the Patriots faithful. Then again, they won a Super Bowl not long after, so they can deal with it. Number 7. The day Seattle didn't run the ball. Moving on to number 7, we have a play that will probably give the Patriots fans some life again. That was the Malcolm Butler interception. Now, the sheer fact that we have another epic moment involving the Patriots should tell you how often they were winning games, but I digress. The Super Bowl should have been the Seattle Seahawks year. I mean, everything was perfectly set up for them to close this one out. All they had to do was score at the 1-yard line, and luckily they had Marshawn Lynch in their backfield. Well, apparently they overthought it. Despite taking what likely would have been a go-ahead touchdown with under 30 seconds left, they threw the ball, and Butler had one of the most iconic interceptions of all time. Nobody in the building was thinking interception, except for Butler, who just had a gut feeling that he knew the play. While this ended the game and gave the Patriots a Super Bowl, it almost completely shattered the Seahawks roster. Some have said that they lost faith in head coach Pete Carroll after that loss, and we saw a variety of those star players leave not long after. Number 6. Odell made the catch. Number 6 comes a play that didn't even happen in the playoffs, but it was so incredible that it just had to show up on this list. It's the ridiculous one-handed catch from Odell Beckham. I didn't even need to talk about it much. You all know the one. Odell didn't just snag the insane ball with ease, he did it with just a few fingers. This catch later influenced and still influences an entire generation of athletes. Everybody playing the sport wanted to be like Odell and grab those one-handed catches. It didn't matter what age you were when you saw it, at some point you wanted to be like Odell and catch a ball like this. It's not often that we see a single catch change the entire NFL community, but we did on this day. Number 5. Franco Harris snags the Immaculate Reception. At number 5, we have the Immaculate Reception. Sure, it's a little older, though when you're talking about epic moments, this one can't be forgotten about. The immaculate reception came during the divisional round of the postseason between the Oakland Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oakland looked like they were going to win the game, especially after a pass from Terry Bradshaw was deflected towards the ground. Somehow, against all odds, Franco Harris caught the ball off his shoe and took it to the house to win the game. Even the camera didn't even realize that Harris had the ball until he was sprinting towards the end zone. Some believe that the ball hit the ground, but the referees didn't think so, and the play stood. To this day, it's one of the most legendary moments in NFL history. I don't even think I can imagine the wave of emotions that fans had to deal with on that night. Number 4. Dwight Clark and Joe Montana make history. Number 4 was a tough choice. However, I think I'm going to go with the catch. No, it's not just any generic catch, it's the catch. You know, the catch from the San Francisco 49ers turned into a dynasty with Joe Montana at the helm. See, San Francisco hadn't even had a Super Bowl at this point and were down by a score against the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. With under 5 minutes left, Montana marched down to the field to get into striking distance. This was when Montana threw a lofty pass towards the back of the end zone, only to be caught by Dwight Clark to win the game. Had it not been for the primary read on that play, Freddie Solomon falling down, we wouldn't have had this unreal moment. Number 3. Santonio Holmes toe tap touchdown. Going into number 3, we have many great choices. This next one is going to be the unbelievable Santonio Holmes sideline catch that won the Steelers a Super Bowl and sent the Arizona Cardinal fans to their knees. Many think this is one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time, and it also included the legendary 100-yard interception return from James Harrison, which is an honorable mention to this list. Regardless, the game came down to the Steelers needing to score with a little time left on the clock. Ben Roethlisberger floated a risky pass to the back corner of the end zone, and to the surprise of everybody, Holmes tiptoed to the back to squeeze the ball in for a touchdown. The ball had to go through 3 Cardinal defenders in the toughest corner of the end zone to score, and Holmes made it look effortless. No matter how many times I rewatch it, I still can't rewrap my head around this and how this play was even possible. Number 2. The Music City Miracle heard around the world. Speaking of impossible, let's talk about the Music City Miracle. We all know how difficult it is to put together one of those last lateral plays. Well, the Titans were down by 1 point with 15 seconds left against the Buffalo Bills in the wild card game. They had no other option but to try and field the kick return and lateral the ball around to see if they can create some magic. And create magic they did. Kevin Dyson, same guy who came up just 1 yard short in the Super Bowl, was the man who received a lateral and took it the distance to create one of the most exciting plays of all time. We've seen a few laterals work in the past decade, but none that happened in the postseason with the season on the line. This was a special moment indeed. Number 1. David Tyree stuns the Patriots. And finally at number 1 comes the helmet catch. The catch that jolted Eli Manning up the quarterback rankings. Now some of you might be wondering why this is the number 1 most epic moment in history, and it's because the play stopped Tom Brady from winning another Super Bowl. Of course, it was also a legendary play by David Tyree in his own right. With the New York Giants down, they needed a big play, and Eli Manning delivered an escaping, a near-guaranteed sack to toss a ball up to Tyree, who caught it on his own helmet. There was an all-pro safety holding onto his back. Tyree maintained possession on his head while going to the ground, and the Giants went on to score and win the game, cementing Eli Manning's legacy as Tom Brady's kryptonite. To this day, it's one of the biggest Super Bowl upsets in league history, for good reason. And with that, we come to the end of this journey, reminiscing on the most epic moments that the league has ever seen. Which of these plays was your favorite?